Hello everyone, Morgan Hibbs here with Linn County Farm Bureau. I'm so excited to be back with you for a second month of Ag in the Classroom. So this month in October, we are going to learn about pumpkins. So raise your hand and let's have a class discussion. So if you want to pause this video and hold that classroom discussion, you can. But what do we use pumpkins for? Where do they grow? How do pumpkins grow? Do all pumpkins look the same? Can you name 3 uses for pumpkins? What season do we harvest pumpkins? So now is a great time to pause the video and brainstorm those questions, or you can think to yourself and answer those questions in your head. Now we have a few resources available on our website. And one of them is the read aloud story called Seed Sprout Pumpkin Pie. And I encourage you to now watch that video or listen to that story. If you would like to read it to your class, you can put it on mute and read along with the story as the video plays. But when you're reading the story, think about all of the different uses for pumpkins. We often think that pumpkins are used for jack-o'-lanterns, which they are around Halloween time. But we also use pumpkins for pumpkin puree. Some of you might like to eat pumpkin seeds. And pumpkins are a part of the squash family. And so this week, for example, I had spaghetti squash for dinner. And so when we are eating pumpkins, we are eating a pumpkin that's in the squash family. And there are all different types of squashes, and we eat them and use them for different things and for different recipes. So in today's lesson, we are going to learn about the life cycle of a pumpkin. And so in your kit or on the website is the downloadable PDFs for our pumpkin life cycle. If you have one of our kits, then they will already be cut in a Ziploc bag with a string. If you don't have a kit, then you will need to hole punch once you print the life cycle. Hole punch each of the stages of the life cycle. You will need tape, scissors if you need to cut this out, crayons or markers to color the life cycle. You will also have a plate in the kit. And if you did not receive a kit, then you just need a tiny little plate. We have pumpkin seeds for taste testing, a recipe for pumpkin pie in the bag, and a PDF PowerPoint of pumpkin varieties. So now that we've introduced the lesson pumpkins, we are going to go through. When you read your story, you might have learned that pumpkins all come in different shapes, sizes, and colors. The pumpkins that we often think of are orange and large for jack-o'-lanterns, but there are different kinds of pumpkins in different colors, different shapes, and some are even smooth or bumpy. So let's go through and talk a little bit about some of the pumpkin varieties. So this pumpkin right here is a Cinderella pumpkin. The Cinderella pumpkin is bright orange. It's a little bit more flat. It's very bumpy. Baby Boo pumpkins. These pumpkins are small, white, and they fit in the palm of your hand. So these are primarily used for decoration. We have pumpkins that are very bumpy. We have pumpkins that are more of a yellow or tan color. This pumpkin is called Full Moon. We have Atlantic Giant. Raise your hand if you've been to the state fair before and seen the giant pumpkin competition. So we have pumpkins that can grow to be 1,000 pounds. We have the little Pumpkimon, and it has some stripes in it, so it's white with orange stripes. We have the fairy tale pumpkin. And then we have the orange smoothie pumpkin. So this is a small orange smoothie pumpkin. You might get this pumpkin in the grocery section of the produce area at your grocery store. Now when we think of pumpkin pie is usually not made with those bright orange pumpkins. They are usually made with more of a pale orange. So for example, we would not use a jack-o'-lantern pumpkin for pumpkin pie. We would use a pumpkin that is more of a yellow or a really dull orange. You want a heavy pumpkin for when you're making pumpkin pie because you want all of the meat and the seeds and the insides of the pumpkin to make that puree. When you are carving a jack-o'-lantern, you'd rather have a light pumpkin so that way when you're cleaning out all of those seeds, then you don't have as much to clean out when you're making your jack-o'-lantern. Okay, so now you can pause this video and now watch the life cycle of a pumpkin video. Just a short video going through and reviewing the life cycle of a pumpkin just like you learned in your story. When you resume play, we are going to now go through the life cycle of a pumpkin together. So inside of your kit, you have the life cycle stages. So we begin with the seed, and you can color these, but in science we always try to color realistically. So make sure that you're coloring the seed tan, brown, maybe a white or a light gray. So we want to color the seeds accurately. So then you can put the seed on your string and tie it to the end. What came next in the life cycle of the pumpkin? The leaf. We have a vine that grows with some leaves, and those leaves help to provide food for the plants through photosynthesis. So you're going to add the leaf next. Do you remember what came after the leaf? We have the flower. What color was the flower in our story? It was yellow. A bright yellow star-like shaped flower, and it will be pollinated by pollinators like bees and butterflies. Once it's pollinated, a pumpkin can begin to grow. This pumpkin is green because it is not ripe yet. It is small, it is still growing. So we're going to place the pumpkin on our string next. Once the pumpkin starts to grow, it can begin to ripen. And that means to reach maturity or ready to harvest. So we're going to place our pumpkin on the string, but remember in science we color realistically. So you could color your pumpkin orange. You could also color it a yellow, because pumpkins can be yellow. They can be white, they can be a light green, they can even be a light blue. And some pumpkins can be even white with orange stripes like we saw in our PowerPoint. Lastly, once we have the harvested pumpkin, then you can make a jack-o'-lantern with your paper plate. There's a stem. You can tape or glue the stem to the paper plate, make a scary or a happy face, and then add your paper plate to your yarn. We are going to tie the string around the paper plate to keep it nice and secure. And then we have the life cycle of the pumpkin, starting with the seed. Next is the leaf. Then we have the flower. We have the small green pumpkin, the large orange pumpkin, and our jack-o'-lantern. There is some pumpkin seeds inside your kit. You can pass one of these out to each student to have them try them. And there is a pumpkin in a pie recipe to send home to families. This is just a simple pumpkin pie recipe inside of a Ziploc bag that's single serving, so it makes for a perfect after-school snack. If you have questions, you can reach out to your teachers and ask them, or you can email me and your teachers can ask me questions if you have a question for a farmer, and I can get those answers for you. Thank you all for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in November.